Welcome to Career Ambitions, the podcast for corporate professionals who are ready to stop waiting and take control of their careers. If you're tired of sending applications into the void, wondering why you're not getting interviews, and watching opportunities go to people who are no more qualified than you, you're in the right place, my friends. I'm Joanne Sparrow, former HR director turned career coach, and I've spent more than 2 decades sitting on the other side of the hiring table. That means I know exactly what hiring managers think and what they say behind closed doors. Join me on this episode of Career Ambitions, where I'm pulling back the curtains on the hiring process and unapologetically exposing the truths job seekers are never told to give you the strategy and confidence to move your career forward and land your dream job or promotion. Hello and welcome back to Career Ambitions, the podcast designed to help you navigate your career with confidence, clarity, and strategy. I'm Joanne Sparrow, career coach and former HR executive, your host. And today we're talking about something that makes a lot of professionals uncomfortable, and that's personal branding. The moment I say those words, some people immediately think, I'm not an influencer, I'm not in marketing, I don't want to spend all day posting on LinkedIn. If that's you, stay with me, because today's episode isn't about becoming famous on social media. It's about making sure the right people understand the value you bring before you ever walk into the interview. Because here's the reality. The most qualified candidates don't always get hired. The candidate who communicates their value most effectively often does. So let's talk about why personal branding has become absolutely essential in today's job market, and how you can start building yours without feeling fake, salesy, or self-promotional. Let's start by clearing up a major misconception. Your personal brand is not your logo. It's not your LinkedIn banner, and it's definitely not how many followers you have. Your personal brand is your professional reputation. It's the answer to one simple question. What are you known for? Think about someone you admire professionally. Maybe they're known for building high-performing teams, or maybe they're known for crisis communications. Maybe they're known for leading complex projects. The moment you think of them, something specific comes to your mind, right? That's their personal brand. One of my favorite ways to describe personal branding is your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And whether you're intentionally building it or not, you already have one. The question is, are you controlling the narrative, or are you leaving it up to chance? So I want you to imagine 2 candidates applying for the same role. They both have 10 years of experience. They both have excellent optimized resumes, and both interview really well. Candidate A submits their application and waits. Candidate B submits their application. But when the hiring manager looks them up online, and they will find a polished LinkedIn profile, thoughtful comments on industry discussions, recommendations from colleagues, clear evidence of their expertise, and consistent messaging about what they do and the value they bring. Who do you think feels safer to the hiring manager to hire? Most hiring managers will tell you it's candidate B, not because they're more qualified, because they're more visible. They are easier to understand, and they feel less risky. That's the power of personal branding. So let's talk about why this truly matters in today's job market. A few years ago, your resume might have been enough. But today, employers have access to so much more information at their fingertips. Recruiters are routinely reviewing LinkedIn profiles before scheduling interviews. Hiring managers often search candidates online, and they look for signals that help them answer questions like, is this person credible? Are they engaged in their profession? What are others saying about them? Do they have expertise in the areas we need? Your personal branding will help answer those questions immediately. It will also help you stand out. In many job searches, you're competing against dozens, sometimes hundreds of applicants with similar credentials. Experience alone doesn't differentiate people the way it once did. Reputation does. Visibility does. Your career story does. And perhaps most importantly, your personal brand creates trust. The stronger the trust, the lower the perceived hiring risk. And hiring managers are always trying to reduce risk. So the biggest mistake I see professionals make is believing that their personal branding means talking about yourself all the time. That, my friends, is not branding. That's self-promotion. Great personal brands focus on helping. They focus on teaching, sharing, contributing. So for example, if you're a project manager, you could share lessons you've learned, tools that have helped your team succeed, insights about leadership, advice for managing stakeholders. And if you're in HR, you might share current hiring trends, employee experience insights, leadership observations, career advice. You don't need to be an expert who knows everything. You simply need to be willing to share what you've learned. One useful mindset shift is this. Instead of asking, what should I say about myself? Ask this instead. What could I share that would help someone else? That approach will instantly feel more authentic. So we're going to make this practical for you. If you're wondering where to start, here are 5 simple steps. Step 1, define what you want to be known for. And you do this by asking yourself, what professional problems do I solve? What strengths show up repeatedly in feedback? Why do people come to me? If you can't answer these questions, I want you to start by reviewing performance reviews, testimonials, and LinkedIn recommendations. The clues are usually already there. Step 2, create 3 brand pillars. Think of these as topics you want to be associated with. So for example, a communications professional might choose strategic communications, executive presence, media relations, or an HR leader might focus on talent management, leadership, and employee experience. I want you to keep them simple. 3 themes are enough. Step 3, optimize your LinkedIn profile. Your profile should immediately communicate who you are, what you do, who you help, and the impact you create. Many professionals have headlines that simply say manager, director, consultant. Instead, use your headline to communicate your value. Make it easy for people to understand your expertise, or as I like to say, your zone of genius. Step 4, gather proof. Claims are good, but evidence is better. I want you to collect recommendations, testimonials, success stories, project outcomes, awards, and certifications. Your personal brand becomes stronger when you demonstrate results. Number 5, show up consistently. Consistency beats perfection. You do not need to post every day. You do not need to have thousands of followers. You don't need a content strategy worthy of a Fortune 500 company. I want you to start by posting once a week. Comment on industry conversations, share lessons you've learned, summarize a good book you've just read, and what was the learnings you've taken from that book. Your visibility will compound over time. If there's one thing I want you to remember from today's episode, it's this. A personal brand isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about making your value visible. Because talent that's hidden is going to get overlooked. Talent that's communicated gets recognized and remembered. When someone visits your LinkedIn profile, speaks with your references, reads your resume, and interviews you, they should walk away with a consistent understanding of who you are, the value you bring, your zone of genius. That's personal branding. And in today's job market, it's no longer optional. It's one of the most powerful career tools you have. Thanks so much for joining me on this episode of Career Ambitions. If you found this conversation helpful, please share it with a colleague, friend, or fellow job seeker. And until next time, remember, your career doesn't advance because of what you know alone. It advances when the right people know what you're capable of. If you want to learn more specifically about this topic, I'm hosting a free masterclass on August 12th. And if you're listening to this recording on August 12th, there's still time for you to register. If you're listening to the recording after August 12th, register anyways, and I'll send you the replay. The registration link will be located in the show notes below. Until next time, make it a great day. Thank you so much for listening to Career Ambitions. If this episode gave you a new perspective, a practical takeaway, or even a little spark of confidence you needed, I would love for you to follow the show and leave a review. And if you're an ambitious corporate professional who's ready to stop guessing and start moving with a clear strategy, I would love to invite you to my masterclass. Inside this masterclass, I teach the exact strategies my clients are using to land their dream jobs. You can learn more about the masterclass in the show notes or at joannesparrow.com. See you in the next episode of Career Ambitions.